Since I began identifying as an agnostic Muslim, many people have asked me why, and what is an agnostic Muslim? Just to briefly recap on my story, I was born a Muslim and practiced as devoutly as I could for 50 years. Islam guided every aspect of my life, but towards the latter years I suffered a deep crisis of faith. My doubts and questions led me to reject Islam completely, and I began to make videos critiquing aspects of Islam. I joined the Council of Ex-Muslims to support Maryam Namazi and others in breaking down the taboo surrounding leaving Islam. I also helped found the Council of Ex-Muslims online forum to provide a safe place for ex-Muslims and free thinkers to express themselves and find support. While I still support Maryam's work, and I stand by my previous videos, my own personal journey did not stop there. Although I no longer believe in Islam in the traditional way, I don't feel completely comfortable with the label ex-Muslim either, nor do I feel at ease identifying as an atheist. I prefer the label Agnostic Muslim as it reflects my doubts as well as my faith. I do believe in something beyond this material existence, something I can't define or quantify. You can call this something God if you want. Yet at the same time, I believe it is impossible to either prove nor disprove its existence. I feel comfortable identifying as a Muslim, not because I believe it's the one true religion, but simply because it's the tradition I am familiar with. My family, friends and loved ones are Muslims, and I enjoy participating in Islamic festivals and celebrations with them. I find comfort in prayer, and I still instinctively refer to verses of the Quran or Hadith, and draw on many aspects of Islamic wisdom and teachings, despite the fact I reject other parts of it. However, I don't believe the Quran is infallible. I believe it is of human origin. I am happy to accept that Muhammad was inspired by God to utter the words of the Quran. I think we are all inspired and driven by whatever power and forces drive this universe, but this inspiration comes through our fallible human mind and character. Muhammad could not have done anything other than express his inspiration according to his time, culture, and personality. It is he who authored the Quran and composed the words and sentences using human language that is fallible and limited to our human terms of reference. Although the Quran contains a great deal of wisdom, it is inextricably tied to its context and environment. Most of all, it is fallible, and must be subject to human reason, and not the other way round. There may be ultimate truth, but from our human perspective, truth is relative. So I am not dogmatic, nor insistent that my way is the only way. My faith is universalistic, inclusive, pluralistic, and accepting of differences. If a just and merciful God exists, then he chose to create the world with plenty of reasonable doubt about his existence and about religion, in which case the only thing that would be of interest to such a God would be our actions, how we live our lives, the choices we make, the good we do and the love we show, not whether we believed in him or not, nor what religion, if any, you follow. I reject the traditional view of heaven, hell and the Day of Judgment. If there is some sort of reckoning, then it would be based on our actions, not what religion we follow. Plus it would take into account our flawed nature and the fact that our free will is limited at best and largely determined by biology and environment. I not only reject the notion of Sharia law, I reject the very idea of a perfect divine law for all times and all places. All laws are human laws, and all forms of government are human forms of government. They are flawed and very fallible. They always have been and always will be. All we can be expected to do is strive to make the best laws and governments we can with the tools we have. I strongly believe that if Muslims were able to recognize the human origin of the Quran, it would solve a great deal of our problems, while at the same time allowing them to retain their faith as Muslims. It is the belief in the infallibility of the Quran that is actually undermining Islam, because it forces us to either invent dishonest and laughable apologetics, or it compels us towards harsh literalist views.